Hello, everyone. Welcome. Everyone's joining in. Video on is amazing. If you can have your video on, that's super helpful. We love being able to see you. I can see everyone's lovely faces here. Absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I'm so excited. We've got a whole team here that are going to be running this workshop. This is the Dream Clients Workshop. You are at the right place. We have a lot to cover. So, first thing I want to do is everyone who's here, pop in the chat where you are right now, where you are in the world right now, and what you do creatively, right? Just as we have more people joining in, just popping in the chat where you are in the world and what you do creatively. Now, those of you that don't know me may be very confused because you're like, where is that accent from? I am originally from New Zealand. That's where I'm from originally. But yes, I'm actually based in the US. So I'm based in Virginia, in Richmond, Virginia, which often is a little surprising for people. We primarily work with people in the US and Canada. So there we go. I'm seeing in the chat here people popping in from all over the place, which is fantastic. So if you've just joined us, where you are in the world and what you do creatively, right? So we can see here graphic designers, digital illustrators, Paige from Utah, graphic design, nice. Jared, marketing, creative director based in Louisville, Kentucky, nice. Spain, hey Maria, good to see you. Illustration, there we go. Ohio, Heath as well, good to see you again as well. Hello, everyone. Romania, amazing, fantastic. This is awesome. I just love seeing where everyone's based here. We've got Allison there, Minneapolis, Minnesota, nice. Graphic design, freelance illustrators. There we go. Hey, Sherry, good to see you. Oh, this is awesome. So just have a look through and see if you can see if someone else is from where you are, even maybe the same country or state. A lot of people we do tend to talk to, work with, do tend to be US and Canada based, but we do also work with people outside there as well. We pretty much never have New Zealand clients. The time zone is not very helpful in New Zealand, unfortunately. So there we go. Okay, so we do have lots of good stuff planned. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be taking you through some introductions, those good things there. So we're going to start off with Ryan. We'll get you to introduce yourself and then we'll go through it from there. Over to you, Ryan.
Hey everybody, Ryan Lanigan, currently in the middle of Kentucky, middle of nowhere, Kentucky. A lifelong creative, somebody who's been in the industry now for 20 years, which is kind of scary to say. I've had a variety of positions from designer to creative director to marketing director in-house, and most recently finished up a stint as a marketing director and looked to move into running my business full time, which is where the lovely folks at Flammable Entrepreneur come in, and they've been a great help in helping me to work on structure and best practices and mindset and all kinds of wonderful aspects of business to help me really get things off and running over the past year to the point where I've been able to double revenue month over month very recently. So it's really been a great experience so far. I'm looking forward to hearing, today and hearing from some of you guys today. So ready to get going.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan. That's fantastic. Molly, we'll get you to go next with your introduction.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Ryan. I'm super excited to be here. My name's Molly Russell. I am an independent brand designer and illustrator based in Missoula, Montana. And I do everything from visual identity development to packaging and custom illustration and really every touch point that exists for any sort of small to mid-sized business. And I have over a decade of agency and in-house experience. So I've been doing this for a little while, not as long as Ryan. And I've always freelanced on the side of other jobs. So it's kind of always been in my back pocket. And I knew for a really long time that working for myself was something that I wanted to do. It was a dream that, every time it came up, for whatever reason, kind of put it in the back of my mind or talked myself out of it. And I kind of hit a point at the end of last year where I felt like the timing was right and I needed to do something. And so that's where Logan and his team come in. And I feel like I've learned so much, but first I'll talk a little bit about Logan before I get into it. Logan completed his entrepreneurship master's and had his own creative business for 11 years. He's worked with universities, creative programs, all around the world, helping creatives to learn and grow. He's since worked with hundreds of graphic designers, muralists, illustrators, and creative folks throughout North America and Europe, helping them grow their businesses and using his wealth of business knowledge and experience to support them. He's helped clients leave their toxic day jobs to finally build the businesses of their dreams, which is super inspiring and one of the things that really drew me to working with Logan and his team. He's taken freelance creatives from $1,000 a month to $5,000 a month, and then on to $25,000 a month. So some real growth there and proof points, which is really awesome. Working with Logan has helped me in so many ways. I think that the very first bit of working with Logan, I gained a lot of clarity on my offerings. That was huge for me. Because as a creative, I kind of find myself having my hands in every type of project. We'll kind of do anything. But working with Logan, I was able to really define what are those offerings and who are my target markets. So defining those two things really helped me take action in terms of what kind of clients do I want to work with? Where do I want to focus my energy? And that way I can pursue relationships that are aligned with my values. So that was a huge thing. And that foundation alone gave me, I think the biggest result I talk about is confidence. Working with Logan and his team, having all that foundational work just has given me the confidence to believe in myself and believe in my business. And I quit my day job in February, and in 6 months of working for myself, I've already had a 5-figure month. So far, so good.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Molly, and thank you for the introduction there as well. Those of you that have just joined us, you are at the right place. We are running the workshop today. This is a free workshop all about finding your dream clients. So we're going to be diving into that very soon. And yeah, just to add what Molly said is that myself and the team work under the Flammable Entrepreneur brand. If you'd seen that word Flammable Entrepreneur and going, well, where does that fit in? So that connects that up as well. So yeah, we work with people who are honestly a mixture of stages. Some people at early stage, kind of like Molly, they were trying to get started, trying to get moving, maybe trying to leave a day job, trying to really grow. We also work with people that are further along, like Ryan, who, hey, I've been doing this for longer, but I want to grow this business. The people we work with, as Molly mentioned, graphic designers, illustrators, muralists, very much people in the visual creative space. And the people we work with are primarily in the US and Canada. I am based in Richmond, Virginia, even though the accent suggests otherwise. I've also got the team here today, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got Paul, we've got Alyssa here, which is fantastic. So we're going to get them to do an introduction so you know all about them, and then we're going to dive into the workshop. So Paul, we'll get you to introduce yourself first.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thanks, Logan. I'm Paul Corrigan. I'm the creative business specialist with the team here at Flammable. And basically, we help people grow their creative businesses and focus on the business side of it. It's really fun. I really feel passionate about doing it. It's really fun to help you all. And I'm based up in Maine, where I have a seasonal Christmas tree business as well. I come at it from kind of the business point of view. And yeah, it's great to be here. Really excited to learn today.
Amazing. Thank you, Paul. Great to have you here as well. And then Alyssa, we'd love you to do a quick introduction as well.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Alyssa Harmon. I am the program manager and one of the business point coaches here at Flammable Entrepreneur. So I work closely with Logan and the rest of the team. And it's great to be here with all of you. I am based in sunny Tampa, Florida, and I've had the pleasure of living and working all around the US. My background is actually in higher education. So I have a master's degree in higher education and a doctorate of education in educational leadership. I specialize in working with adult learners and truly value building strong relationships with all of our clients. So thank you for joining us today. Really looking forward to this chat.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the introductions. This is fantastic. Now, everyone knows who is here as well, which is great. If you can have video on, by the way, today, we love being able to interact and see people here. You will notice you are on mute because we've just got us presenting. Look, if you're eating lunch or something like that, it's fine. You can have your video off. You're all good. Hey, we have a lot to cover, so we're going to dive into it. So first of all, awesome that everyone is here. Showing up can be pretty hard because everyone's busy. I know you've all got things to do, right? Whether that's your own business, your day job, your family, your connections, your lunch, right? So well done for actually being here live, which is absolutely fantastic. We really know that that's a big part of growing a creative business is actually taking action, getting focused on taking action. So we're going to be talking a lot about this today and helping you get beyond just the kind of sit back and listen. Actually, we want you to be leaning forward, like lean right forward, get your notes out. Make sure you're taking lots of notes. We're going to fly through a lot of information today as well. So definitely make sure you're note taking along the way. Now, we're doing a couple of really awesome things on this workshop. One of them is that we are giving away free coaching calls with my team, with Paul and Alyssa. Towards the end of the call, make sure you stick around because we're going to be sharing literally their Calendly links straight into the chat, so you can just book in that free call either tomorrow, sometime next week, or either the week after. So make sure you stick around for that. That's going to be a really good opportunity to digest what you've learned during this workshop as well, and get a little bit more support to talk about dreams and challenges and those things there too. So definitely make sure you stick around for that. And then finally, we're going to give away $100. Who would like $100? Raise your hand, those of you that I can see in the videos. Who would like $100? Everyone's like, yeah, I would love $100. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun. Look, the most interactive person here, we're just going to send you $100 cash. I've got Celeste from my team is also here today with us. She is the one who's going to keep an eye on who's interactive. So we just love a interactive chat. So bonus points if you've got your video on, bonus points if you do maybe share a question or share things in the chat, or even just reflections along the way as well. We'll have some fun with it. It keeps things interesting and lively and helps everyone to be engaged. And then we'll announce that towards the end. So Sherry there saying, can we all just raise our hands? I think everyone should definitely raise their hands for that one. So look, it's a bit of fun there too, but we have so much planned. So interaction will just help you to really lean in as well. Cool. Okay. The workshop is all about finding your dream clients. The reason that we decided this is the workshop we wanted to run is because this is something people struggle with, right? You're a creative person. You have all these ideas. Maybe you have an existing business already. Well, you can end up in this place where you don't have enough clients, or you end up working with some people that you find kind of difficult, right? So a really important part of growing a creative business is finding those absolute dream clients. Yes, freedom and flexibility, making money through your business, these are all great drivers, but we also know that everyone we work with wants to make sure that they're doing the work they're excited about with the people that they want to work with. Really, really important, right? Because otherwise, you're just building something that you don't enjoy, right? We don't want you to just build a day job, right? There's plenty of day jobs out there. You can go and work for someone else. When you are working for yourself, we need to make sure we get that alignment so that you've got the right sorts of clients, you're doing the right sorts of work. So we're going to dig a lot into this. We want to make sure you've got those ideal clients, you're building the business that you are excited about, you're bringing that purpose, that passion to your work as well. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about is finding your people. And as we go through this, I'm going to actually be asking Ryan and Molly to share some of their insights from their journey as well, because it's so important. Yes, I'm here to teach myself, Paul, Alyssa, absolutely. We coach a lot of people, but also we've got to make sure that you're getting the perspectives from the people who are out there doing it. So both Ryan and Molly will share some things along the way. So the first thing we're going to dive into is finding your people, right? So ultimately, solving problems is what business is about, is running your business. You're actually creating value, right? That's what a business does. It creates value in the world. It's about often solving problems and meeting needs. We also need to make sure we find the people that have those challenges, have those problems. So we understand that you love what you do. You love creating, you love your artwork, you love your designing. Well, yes, great, but we've got to align that with who actually needs the help, who actually values what you do. So part of it is starting to actually brainstorm, who could I be working with? Those of you that are early stage, trying to figure these things out, this is going to be part of it for you, is going, okay, who could I be working with? Those of you that have been in business for years, the question might be, who else can I work with, right? And does that mean you could work with, I don't know, restaurants, pet stores, right? Is it the cafe down the road, right? There is so many different types of people, organizations, both individuals or businesses that you could be providing work for, right? Providing your services to. This is a really important thing to understand, but we also need to make sure that they not only value what you do, but they're willing to pay, willing and able to pay you for what you are worth as well. So a big part of this is really looking at some clues around who you've worked with in the past, or who's taken notice in your work. Think about friends, family, or even past clients that have shown interest in what you do. That's often a clue in terms of who you could be creating for, right? So there's a lot of clues out there. Something else that you can do is take a look around and see what other people are doing, right? If you're an illustrator, go look at other illustrators and see what types of clients they have, right? What types of clients do they have out there? Who are they working with? They might be sharing on their Instagram. They might be sharing on other social media, maybe even on their website as well. It's really important. Have a look to get some inspiration and ideas, right? Oh, that's interesting. This company here, they work with small organizations that do X, right? Well, this company here, oh, wow, they actually work with Airbnbs to create murals. Airbnbs, that could be really, really interesting. There is so many different dream clients that you could work with. Part of it here is then testing these things out, right? So you might end up with a big list of people, right? You're like people or organizations. Okay, the pet stores, the Airbnbs, the small businesses, you might have a whole list. Fantastic. Well, the truth is that we can create lists till the end of the day. At some point, we've got to go, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And I'm actually going to get out there and I'm going to talk to these organizations. That could be doing the cold emailing. It could be doing some networking. It could literally be getting outside and going to those places and having a chat with them as well. So the truth is, you're not going to know whether someone is a dream client until you actually work with them. Right? That is the truth here. You might be like, well, I think it could be really cool to work with this sorts of organizations. Right, absolutely. That's a good start, but you're never really going to know until you've done that, until you've actually talked to them and ideally worked with them as well. So this is a real part of it, is the testing things out, the experimentation phase. If you're early stage, absolutely, there's an experimentation phase. If you're further along, there's still an experimentation phase to grow in terms of what you're doing, but also who you're working with as well. Now, one thing around this is that often businesses can be really great dream clients because they have budgets. Absolutely. You can work with private individuals as well, but we do see that often having businesses as your clients can be really good because they're looking for a return on their investment. They're saying, hey, if I invest $4,000 or $1,000 in this thing, whether that's a design, a mural, branding, whatever it is, they're looking at going, hey, how is this going to be a return on investment for my business, right? How are we actually going to get a return from that? So really, really powerful. Molly, would love to hear your thoughts around this topic here around, these dream clients, finding your people.
Yeah. Thanks, Logan. I think that, something I reflect on a lot lately is that when I started out as a designer, when I was, just fresh out of school, I always thought that dream client meant like, to Logan's point, like, what's their budget? Like a huge client or like somebody who's really well known. Like, I mean, don't we all want to work for Disney and Nike, et cetera? But, what I've learned along the way and along my journey is that those are not the important things. I think that, a dream, just defining what your dream client is in the first place is, like, well, it comes down to value. So like, what kind of working relationship do you want to have with your clients? What are your values? What are your goals as a business? So, having some of those questions answered for yourself are really valuable in then defining what a dream client even is, because it's not all about visibility or budget or anything like that. It's really about who you are and what you care about. What do you want to put your creative energy into? And so something that I've had to come to terms with is that the word dream or defining somebody as a dream client, it's all relative. It depends on where you're at. My dream client 5 years ago is way different than my dream client today. And probably next year, maybe even next week or tomorrow, it's going to change. So it's really based on where you're at in this moment in time and what's going to meet your needs. A dream client might be somebody who's going to allow you a lot of flexibility and freedom in what you do. Maybe a dream client is who's going to, fly you around the world and go have the time of your life while you do work for them, or like there's just like so many different things. So I think that a good place to start when you're trying to find the right people, find the people you want to work with, is defining your values, defining your goals as a business. As Logan mentioned, we're all really passionate people. We care about creating, we care about building something awesome, but there's also the business side of things, which is sometimes less creative, and but we have to do it. Running a business is hard, so there's a lot of converging factors that we have to consider in what this dream client looks like. So really defining those things then has, for me, has helped define my next steps in terms of how do I find those people. So connecting with people who have shared values, being well, I have a little sort of mnemonic device that I use, which is related to this. It's an ABC thing, but the three things that I align with when I want to, really just when I want to run my business, is authenticity, belief, and consistency. So being authentic is super important. Putting yourself out there as you, is one of the most important things. Like what gets you out of bed in the morning? What are you excited about? What do you want to create? How can you support your clients? And showing up as yourself, for you and for your clients, will allow you to have a much more collaborative and honest and real relationship where you can meet in the middle and truly work together. The second thing is believing in yourself. And if you believe in yourself, your clients will believe in you as well. So that's, the trust, the proof that you can do the work. There's the portfolio, there's, past clients, referrals, which are huge. But just having that belief and that confidence that you can do it, again, will attract the right folks to you. You've got the values aligned, they trust you, they believe in you, you believe in yourself, things are going to go great. And then consistency, I think, is one of maybe the more challenging ones, which is just showing up every single day for you and your business, whether you want to or not, whether you feel like it or not, doing the hard things so that you can be present for yourself and your clients and have the type of relationship you want to have with them. And also putting out the quality of work that you hope to share with them, and then also with the world, because every time you have a high quality relationship with a client, they're going to tell somebody about it and about you, or people are going to see it. So every single time you interface with a client, that's an opportunity to share with the world, your magic, what you bring to the projects that you work on.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Molly. I love the ABC. I think it's such a powerful thing that you shared with everyone as well. The next thing we're going to talk about here is what we call the marketing sweet spot, right? So just like Molly said, right, the business stuff is really important. Let's just take a moment to recognize that, right? We see that again and again, is that I'm sure everyone here is really talented creatively. Right? Even if you're not quite sure if you are, well, you probably are, because that's what we often see, is that it's not the creative side that's getting in people's ways. It's not the craft. It's actually the business stuff, right? Not enough people knowing you exist is often the biggest challenge that people have in creative businesses. Not enough of the right people knowing you exist. So part of it is marketing. Right? Marketing is a really important part of it, is getting yourself out there. Now, the thing is that I'm sure most people here, you're like a one-person business, right? Most people we work with, they're a one-person business. Their business is them. They are their business, right? They're a freelancer. They've got their own business. They're doing these things themselves, right? This is really, really important to understand, because it means that you probably don't have a marketing team. Actually, no one we work with has a marketing team. So you are going to need to do these marketing things, and they probably won't come naturally to you. You're going to have to lean in and learn them. And that is also kind of overwhelming, because we see on the internet that you have to be everywhere, right? We hear things like people have to see you multiple times in multiple mediums to actually work with you. Well, the truth is that that's really overwhelming. If you try and be on all the social media platforms, if you try and do all the different things, you're going to be really overwhelmed. Instead, the best focus is to get that energy and really focus it. This is something that we work on with people, and we find it's incredibly powerful. You do not have to be everywhere. Instead, what you need to do is get focused with your marketing, right? And that would probably look like your marketing being 80% of your energy, 80% of your marketing energy towards one thing, right? You don't have to be everywhere. That could be Instagram. Right? We have clients that really focus a lot of their marketing through Instagram. They're doing reels, they're doing posts, they're getting into the DMs. right? Or for some people, it's something else. Some people we work with, it is outreach. Others, it is relationships or partnerships or networking, right? So really understanding and getting good at this one thing is incredibly important. Do you not do the other things? No, you still need to do the other things as well, but you don't need to be everywhere doing everything. A really important part of this to understand, though, is that you do need to be somewhere, right? Myself, Paul, Alyssa, we have conversations with people who are like, yep, I focus all of my marketing energy on Instagram. And we're like, okay, great. When did you last post? And they're like, oh, but I haven't really posted for like a month or so. Right? Because marketing's hard, Instagram's hard, those things. Yeah. So we're like, hey, well, actually, they're not really doing the marketing thing. If Instagram is your place, that's going to mean that you need to be up with the latest trends. You probably need to be doing reels. You probably need to look into things like direct messaging, right? This is part of it. Or if it's outreach, okay, great. That's something you'll need to work on as well. So we do tend to see for the clients that we work with, it does tend to be those things I've already mentioned. The things from networking, partnerships, social media. Often that social media is Instagram, outreach, right? These are the things we do tend to see. Now, a really important thing here, this is for people who are already in business or for people that are getting started, is that you cannot rely on just repeat clients and referrals alone, right? We've seen people who have gone okay in their business and they're like, great, I rely on those things. The problem is over time, they eventually go down. It's really hard to increase their pricing. If they lose a client or a major client, they're suddenly in trouble, right? It's so important that you are bringing in new people into your network, new people into your sphere. That's why doing these other things is really important. If right now, if you're saying, hey, I'm actually all good because I have repeat clients, I get some referrals, that's really great. The problem is that's not going to be a long-term strategy. It might be all right now, but it's probably not going to be right for the next few years. And it's also going to be really hard to grow what you're doing, let alone sustain that. So part of it is understanding that you do need to put yourself out there. You do need to find new people. That's also going to allow you to increase your prices over time as well. We're going to talk more about this as well, but Ryan, would love to hear some of your perspectives and thoughts around, the marketing side and finding that marketing sweet spot as well.
Sure thing. Thank you, Logan. I think it's easy kind of in the marketplace we're in where there is no shortage of channels to get overwhelmed. And I think lots of people look at the available options and they think one of two things. Either there's way too many options for me to make an impact, so I'm not going to try anything. Or, I have to do everything all the time. I have to be on every single channel. I have to be on the flavor of the month. I have to be on the flavor of the last 10 years. I've got to be everywhere all the time. And while there's a lot of value to consistency and just being present in places, I think that's for me, it was an easy way to dilute what I was doing by not focusing on necessarily the channels that were the most successful for me, by trying to do everything all the time and making sure that my image, my messaging, everything was present on every channel all the time. I was effectively not being, making an impact on any of those channels. Because the posting becomes sporadic, you're not consistent. You don't recognize that the audiences are different from channel to channel. They have different expectations. They receive things differently. It's not a one size fits all. So by reducing the volume of channels and really focusing on the ones that work best for me, the ones that resonated, and it had a track record of producing business, I was able to more effectively manage those channels and spend less time on marketing for me and more time on marketing for my clients. So I think the biggest difference, and really you describe it perfectly, it's finding your sweet spot. It's finding, the mix of channels and the time investment that really pays off for your business. And for me, it was a process. It was something that took experimentation. It took, years of experience looking at different markets, looking at, how things work for clients, how things work for fellow creatives. And over time, nailing that down, really figuring out who I was, who my audience was, where they live, and how to best reach them consistently, was where success has been found.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan. And part of what we're doing today is we're getting everyone these perspectives from Ryan and Molly, right? This is absolute gold they're sharing because they've been through this stuff. They've grown their businesses, right? Really, really important. They've applied these things that I'm teaching today as well. Hey, one thing we're also going to do is encourage community, right? Both Ryan and Molly know this, is that a big part of their growth has been connecting with more people, and that includes other creatives. So we're just going to take a moment. I would love everyone here to put their Instagram into the chat. Celeste from my team is going to pop our Flammable Entrepreneur Instagram in there as well. There it goes. Make sure you are connected with us. If everyone can go through it and just rather than putting your at tags, can you go and get your URLs and just pop them in there? Then they'll be clickable links. So those of you, if you have put your at tag, go back, go to a website and literally put in your Instagram and then drop it in, because that's going to allow you to be a clickable link. It's really hard on Zoom to like copy paste. So just pop them in there. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, and then once you've added yours, go through and connect up with other people that are here live. This is such an important part of growing, is connecting with a creative community. Yes, awesome to get more followers as well. This is all part of it too, but also we want to get people who are supportive in your network as well. So definitely make sure you're connected with us. Ryan and Molly are dropping their Instagrams as well. I would love everyone to make sure they're definitely connected with myself, Flammable Entrepreneur, and then also Ryan as well as Molly there too. So go through, find the links, and also connect with other people that are here as well. This is a really good opportunity to build your creative community. We have a lot of people on here live right now. I can see the chat is kind of exploding there, which is absolutely fantastic. So everyone is getting right into that as well. Okay, cool. We have lots to cover, so we're going to keep on rolling. Those of you that have just joined us, I saw we had more people joining. You are at the right place. Dream clients. We are going to be doing a $100 giveaway at the end for the most interactive person. The chat is very busy, so I love it. There's like a competition happening there, but actually everyone's just engaging, having some fun there as well. So I appreciate you all. Okay, what we are going to talk about now is building client relationships. Right? The relationship part is so, so important, right? Most of the people that we work with, they're working with people, they have clients that are often paying high dollar amounts, right? So often it's about establishing a relationship. Yes, we do have clients that have some portion of their income, which is maybe more of a store or licensing, those things there. Well, sometimes there's relationships in those things as well. But definitely when you're working with clients who are paying you $500, $1,000, $5,000, $20,000, relationship becomes incredibly important, right? They're just not looking for a design or a mural or a brand. They're also looking for a human interaction. They want to know, like, and trust you as well. This is so essential to grow a business. It's all based on know, like, trust. Now, there's lots of ways to connect with your ideal clients, your dream clients, as we mentioned earlier. Yes, that could be outreach. Yes, that could be networking, partnerships. There's lots of things that we can do. Everyone is going to be different in terms of where they put their energy, right? This is why we have some clients that get really excited about focusing more on Instagram, others that want to get out there and network. There's others that really like the idea of cold outreach, right? Everyone's different. Now, one thing I want everyone here to recognize is that you might be like, Logan, I hate all of those things. I'm scared of them all. They're not fun. They're boring. I don't know them. That's totally fine. Part of the process is going to be leaning in, testing and trying these things and getting more knowledge. The truth is that most people don't tend to like or enjoy the things they don't understand, right? That's the truth. So part of the process is learning more about these different areas. And what comes more naturally over time, what gets easier? Yes, there's going to be things that will depend on your personality. There's going to be things that might depend on the types of clients you're wanting to work with or the type of offerings that you have, even where you are. Those things will be part of it, but there's going to be a lot of experimentation. But I just wanted to note here that it's not always going to feel straight away natural to do something in marketing. It may take some time and it will get easier as you learn more as well. So that's where part of it is also working on that self-growth stuff, building your confidence, working on that resilience, working on your own self-talk, your own mindsets as well is super important. Another part of figuring out the marketing side is getting clear on the who, right? We've talked about that, the ideal clients, the dream clients, the target markets, right? Part of marketing, we need to understand, well, who are those people? There's this classic line where people say, I will work with anyone. I'm a creative person. I love working with lots of people. And it kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, I'm willing to work with anyone. The problem is no one then resonates with you. They're like, oh, they don't seem like they're for me. So instead, it's really important to niche down and get focused. That might be on several different groups of people, dream clients, several different types. That's totally fine. But part of it here is making sure that you get clear on that piece. The next thing we'll talk briefly about is personalization, right? People want to connect with people. So we've got to do several things. If you're doing cold email, personalize those emails. You can have a template. Yes, there can be a bunch of it. That is a template, but you need to make sure that you are personalizing at least part of it, right? Maybe it's how you found this person or a bit about their business and what you've found and how you can maybe help. Really, really important. The other part of this is to bring you into the picture, right? When we go on people's Instagrams or their websites and we don't see who is behind it, sometimes it's a little hard to form a connection and build trust because it's like this faceless brand. We're like, I don't know. Is this going to be, am I going to, if I pay money, is it going to come back? Am I going to get the thing that I want, right? Having the human part in there, incredibly important. I know it's terrifying showing up on Instagram. I'm not expecting you all to suddenly be dancing on there like you're on TikTok, but it's really important for you to show up. That could be an introduction post. It could be bringing you in even every 10 posts. Is it a shot over the shoulder? Is it your office, your setup, a shot of you, right? Bringing in that human element. That's part of what builds those connections and those relationships as well. Molly, would love to hear your thoughts on some of these things because I know you're certainly very good at the relationship side as well. And it's been a big part of your growth too. Love it. Love to hear more.
Thanks, Logan. I am one of those people who is afraid of putting my face on Instagram, and I'm also terrified of cold outreach. So, two of the things that you mentioned, but that doesn't mean I don't do those things. But I think that what I've learned in building client relationships, whether you are doing cold outreach, or getting a referral, it's all about slowly and as organically as possible developing that relationship. I have to remind myself on a regular basis that it's a marathon, not a sprint, and patience is so important. And it's hard, especially if you're feeling, I've definitely had times in my business where I felt like pressure when I'm starting a conversation with a potential client because I maybe don't have anything lined up or it's been a slow month and I'm like, I gotta get something booked. Otherwise I'm starting to feel stress. But you can't let that take over because the most important thing is that you connect with your potential clients where they're at. So, like I said, whether it's a cold email or you meet somebody in person, or are referred to by somebody else, you have to, once you get your foot in the door, that initial inquiry or that email response, et cetera, you then really need to develop that relationship. So whenever I, meet somebody who potentially wants to work with me or could be a potential client, if possible, I always suggest like, let's meet in person. Let's do a meeting and just talk about who you are. It's really, again, it's like I previously mentioned, defining my values. It's so important to also understand the values of your potential client. So I like to do in person. I like to really develop that relationship. If somebody can't do in person, I do Zoom or a phone call. I will not work with somebody if they are not willing to at least have a phone call. It's also a great way to weed out maybe fake inquiries that come through on the website. But just having a conversation with somebody, and when I have that discovery call with them, it's not about getting in and selling. It's about understanding what their pain points are. How can I help you? How can I help your business? Often potential clients will come to me with, their own idea of what they need, which is great. Like I love having a creative think on how we can build something great together. But often after sitting down and having a conversation with them, I realize that they either need something different or they need more than what they think, or they, there's a combination of things. So really taking that discovery call or meeting as an opportunity to learn about them and kind of start ideating, but really figuring out where I can help them. Because once I can kind of have that conversation and show them that I can really make their customer experience better or their experience as a business owner better, you don't really have to do a lot of selling at that point. And it's so much more comfortable because you're on the journey with them And so that's kind of a great reminder, is like, do it together. And then, lastly, patience again. Because sometimes once you get through that discovery call and you send a proposal and they're on board, there's still sometimes things that are a little bit tough. Like sometimes the price point is tough, where people need a little bit of time to figure out other business stuff before they want to make that investment, which is totally fine. Just staying connected, not putting pressure on it, but being consistent about the way that you come up for them in conversation or in other ways, will hopefully land them back in your sphere. I think that a huge thing I've learned through the program and working with Logan and his team is that I like building human relationships is my primary marketing method. I would say 95% of my clients are referrals or repeat clients. And I was kind of surprised to learn that when I came to that realization, but it really speaks to the fact that, having quality experience with your clients is going to make them want to talk about you and about the projects, to all of their friends, and they will refer you to other people. And so just make sure that you give it the time that it deserves. Otherwise, I don't know. I think if you force it, it tends to break down a little bit.
I love it. So good. And once again, hearing these perspectives from both Molly and Ryan, so, so important. Cool. What we're going to talk about next is putting yourself out there, right? Because it's terrifying, right? Molly was saying that, like, it's scary putting yourself out there or showing up on Instagram. Those things can be really, really challenging. And the truth is that, as we said earlier, we need to know that we need enough people to know that you exist. Enough of the right people that are willing to value what you do and willing to pay the rates that you need and want to charge as well. Right. So part of this is going to be putting yourself out there, connecting with people, building those relationships, right? Reaching back out to people, getting on those calls, getting out there, actually talking to real people. Now, part of this here is that you're probably going to get some rejection. You're going to have to deal with some rejection. You're going to get a bunch of no's, and it's hard. Part of business is going to be dealing with rejection and going, okay, that didn't work out. I'm going to learn from that and move on. Or there's nothing to learn there. I'm just going to move on, right? Consistency, right? We heard that ABC, consistency. So get out there again. Okay, what else can I do? Can I connect with someone else? So part of this is going to be putting yourself out there and continuing to do that. Bringing in the human element, bringing in yourself, but also taking imperfect action and trying these things. If we talk about cold outreach for most people is not exciting, right? It's boring. It takes time. It still is incredibly effective, right? This is still a way that you can bring in new clients. Really, really important, but we've got to bring in that personal element. We've got to also keep focused on doing that as well. It can feel a bit spammy, right? I think the worst thing we want to do is feel spammy. Absolutely. We've got to get the balance. I'm not saying be out there messaging everyone the same thing 100 times. Well, bring in that personalization as well. Really, really important. So part of it is to keep focused, keep moving forward. And also, as you learn, you're probably going to be doing some things wrong, and that's okay. Because the best way to learn is going to be try it, get out there, and learn as you go. Rather than stay hidden, when I'm ready, when I feel better, when I feel confident, I will then grow my business. I will then put myself out there. The truth is that nothing will change. Right? Nothing will change it unless you actually start working on these things, building the confidence, those good things there as well. Ryan, would love to hear some of your perspectives around this side as well.
Sure. Thank you, Logan. I would say that as somebody who has been in-house for the better part of a decade, I've received tons of cold outreach from a variety of businesses and vendors and folks looking to grow their businesses. And I've been on the other end of that for so long that I got a feel for what makes things feel spammy, what makes things feel inauthentic. And I think you guys have touched on some of the really great separation points. And I think kind of the first one is mindset. You have to realize that really you're not trying to sell someone as much as you're trying to help someone. And I think that's a small shift in your thinking, but it kind of gives you permission to reach out to people that maybe didn't ask you to reach out to them because you see a problem that they have that maybe they don't see. And maybe you have a skill set or a solution that could solve that for them in an efficient way, something that saves them money, something that makes them have a better image publicly, something that brings them business so that they can continue doing the things that enables them to live their dreams. rather than looking at it as taking, try to look at it as, I have a valuable service. I can do things that maybe you can't, or you don't have access to folks on your team that can do these sort of things. So I want to help you solve these problems. So if you come into it when you're writing, say, a cold email, with this idea that you're trying to solve a problem for a client versus, hey, I need your money. And we all know we need money. That's what makes the world go round. It's all part of this. But when it comes right down to it, the reason we get paid to do what we do is because we offer a valuable service and we do something that other folks can't do for themselves. Nobody is the master of all trades. It's always called jack of all trades, master of none. So, the things that we're the masters at, we have kind of an obligation to really try to help people with those things. And so if you go into those messages, those cold emails, those calls, those handshake interactions, saying, what, I'm going into this really wanting to help this person versus, hey, I'm trying to sell this person, then it changes kind of how you talk about what you do. Because then you start talking about, oh, I see that you have this problem or that problem, or I noticed this about your website or this about a billboard that was for your company and this photography was this. And you can really start getting into kind of the minutia of the problems that you see that you can solve that they may not even see. Just the conversation, a lot of times, just pointing out the needs that people have can be really valuable. And then beyond that, kind of the content of what you say in terms of personalizing it. And Logan hit on this really well. Putting a little bit of time into each individual message to research who this business is, who this person is, what's important to them. What do they have out there already? What can you tell about them? What could you make an inference about? Do you have connections to the business in the community? Do you know somebody that works there? Have you had a checking account at that bank when you were a teenager? Any of these sort of things, anything that builds some sort of natural connection with the folks, giving you a reason to be reaching out to them. Well, I talked to so-and-so at your business the other day, and they mentioned that you have this kind of need. So just taking things, putting the time in to both build your mindset around the kind of messaging that you're going to send, and then looking to build the connections to where it matters to the folks that you're sending it to. And I think between those things, that really separates you from the folks that are just putting things out in thousands and not really trying to connect with any real human being. There's either bots doing it or people doing it in such mass that it's not real. So I think combination of a proper mindset and authenticity in the messaging and the content really can't separate you, and they both make you feel better about it and make it more effective as a way to perform outreach.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan. Absolutely love it. And I love what you said there around that personal element, right? People want to work with people. People need to know, like, and trust you as well. So powerful. Okay, so we have some more things we're going to be covering. We are also going to be jumping into some Q&A soon. We were seeing quite a lot of questions beforehand, so we'll try and answer a bunch of them. If you do have questions, pop them in the chat, and we'll try and answer as many as we can. Now, we are also giving away free calls with Paul or Alyssa from the team, as I mentioned early on. These are freebie coaching calls. I would love absolutely everyone here to get on one of those calls. We don't have lots of spaces, but we do have quite a few there in the next few weeks. So what I'm going to be doing very soon is dropping the link of each of them in the chat. Actually, it's a shared link, so you won't know who you'll end up with. You'll end up with Paul or Alyssa. They're both phenomenal coaches. They're both amazing members of my team. So I would love everyone here to book in that call. This is going to be a chance to really digest what you've learned from today, but also talk through the dreams, the challenges, get a bit of extra support there as well. On that call, if you are interested in learning about how we can help, you can mention that to them as well, and they can take you through what that would look like in terms of our process of supporting people as well. So I've got a couple of caveats around getting on one of these free calls. I'm just going to briefly run through them. If you're happy with them, you can absolutely book in that call. The first one is that you do make sure that you turn up live for that call. If everyone just makes sure they've got their mute on, I think we've got someone off mute there. But what I'm going to briefly go over is just the plan for that call. Number one is that if you're going to be there, if you're going to sign up for the call, I want to make sure that you do show up live. You show up live. You're at a table, you're not like in the car making Paul or Alyssa dizzy. Really, really important that you're prepared, you've got your notebook, and you allow the time as well. So that's the first caveat. The second caveat is that, hey, if you want to get on this call, we want you to be someone that is wanting to grow their business, right? You're not kind of like, hey, I'm just kind of researching for the future. It's like, no, I really want to grow my business. Maybe you want to leave your day job, or you want to start your business, or you want to grow it to that next level, and you're wanting to actually take action. That is really, really important. Then the third part of this is really just understanding that, yes, you're valuing their time, right? We also want to make sure that you're willing to be open. You're willing to be a bit vulnerable. Share your dreams, share your challenges, and be open to their ideas as well. They're both incredibly experienced business coaches, so we've got to make sure that you're open and you're willing to share as well. Those are the caveats. If you're happy with those caveats, can you just pop in the chat yes or okay, sounds good, just for an agreement there before we drop that link. Just make sure everyone's happy with that plan. And then I'm going to drop that link, and then we're going to get into Q&A after this. And yes, we're still giving away the $100 at the end of the call as well. I don't think anyone had forgotten about that part as well for the interaction. So thank you, everyone, saying yes, looks good. Amazing. Someone's mentioned there, I had a call with him earlier this year, a call with Paul. Amazing. That's fantastic. I absolutely love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that link in the chat. This is a Calendly link. This will book in a call. Try and have it as soon as possible. There's even some times for tomorrow. Also, there's times for next week or in the coming weeks there. But try and do it as soon as possible. Now, one note, you'll be able to book in your information there. It's pretty quick. Name, email, submit, right? Find a time that works for you. It will be showing up in your time zone, by the way. In your current time zone is what it will be showing up, the times there as well, which is really, really good. So just giving everyone a moment to make sure you've got that link open. And a few people have been sharing some things in the chat. Yes, had a great call with Paul earlier. Amazing, Heath. I know you enjoyed that call as well. That's absolutely fantastic. So make sure everyone gets that booked in. If you have any issues with booking it, you may need to resubmit another time. There's just a lot of people here today that might be trying to go for some similar times there too. Amazing. One final thing on that is that Celeste from my team will be reaching out to everyone that books a call so that you can do a short pre-call form, just so that Alyssa and Paul can learn a little bit more about where you're at and prep for that call to basically help you the most during that as well. So please make sure you do that, and obviously make sure you value their time, show up live, and you've got your video on, you're ready for that call. It might be honestly the most exciting and powerful call that you may have this entire year. So there we go. I know people have been booking it in already, which is fantastic to see. Okay, so from here, we've got some questions. Now, we did get sent in a ton of questions. We're going to get Paul and Alyssa on board for the question time as well. So this first question here, we're going to send over to you, Alyssa. So we'll get you there to answer this one. And it's quite a good question we were sent, which is, what if your dream clients have no money? What do I do if my dream clients have no money? We'd love to hear your perspective on that one, Alyssa.
Excellent. Yes, great question. Thank you. So, you might have some dream clients out there who really genuinely need what you offer, but aren't able to pay you. And if you're passionate about helping a specific audience, but they aren't able to compensate you, then I recommend you really get real about how to help them, but also still survive in your business yourself. Okay. So, in the end, you need to get paid for your work, right? You need to be compensated for your work. We want you to have those dream clients and ideally work with them. But if they aren't able to compensate you, then possibly keeping an open mind to slightly adjusting your target market. That's something to consider. Okay. Another idea that you can still support these dream clients is, potentially pursuing other avenues of supporting clients with higher budgets and getting paid well from other clients, and potentially donating to a specific audience or supporting them in other ways in order to meet in the middle a bit. So you can also consider working for some clients at a higher price point, and then working with your dream clients for a more affordable price too. So that way you are still being compensated, you're still bringing in money for your business and surviving as a business owner, and able to really assess who your target markets are, what those dream clients could look like, even if it doesn't necessarily fall in line exactly with the dream that you thought you wanted originally, just like Molly said at the beginning. So I hope that that helps, and some really good things to consider as you are assessing your target markets and how they can compensate you fairly for your work.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Absolutely fantastic, and some real gems in there. This next question here is one that we're going to be directing to Paul. And, you know, this is something that we do see a lot of people struggle with as well. And the question is, how do you know if you're good enough? How do you know if you're good enough to get paid for your work? Paul, would love you to address this one here.
Totally. Yeah. That's such a common problem. I think a lot of people have imposter syndrome, right? They're not sure they're good enough. They think it's the work that's holding them back. But I think the first thing you can do is, as there's some talk about this in the chat, you can ask your peers to have, reviews and figure out, where you're at with that. Genuine feedback from peers can be helpful. Professionals to take a look can be really good. Alyssa and I can do this on the call that we have. We see so much art and creative work, and we can definitely let you know for real what it's looking like, and let you know if you need to work on stuff or if you're, good enough there. And most of the time, I'll tell you from experience, most of the time the work's good enough. It's not a question of that. It's a question of the business side of things and the right people knowing you exist. It comes down to marketing and outreach a lot of the time. So really just that belief in yourself is going to be hard, and it's going to be a long-term challenge for a lot of you. It always is for creatives, including myself. But I think it's really about just putting your work out there and believing that you're good enough and getting good enough to get started. That's kind of the key.
I love that. Thank you so much, Paul. I think that's an incredibly powerful thing that you've mentioned there. And really, these are the things that get in people's ways, right? Things like the mindset block. Am I good enough? Is my work good enough? Right? So definitely make sure if you have booked in a call with Alyssa or Paul, you say that to them. Say, here's one of my fears. Here's one of my challenges. Here's something that gets in the way there as well. And they'll be able to take you through that. So really, really important. Okay, so we also got a question around leaving your day job, right? So this question here, I'm going to take this one here, which basically someone said, hey, like, when do I know I'm ready to leave my day job and go full time? Right? The truth is that you need to do the work before you leave the day job, right? What do I mean by that is don't leave your day job and then start to grow your business or start to work on your business, right? You need to actually do whatever you can whilst you have the security of your day job to build things up, right? Ideally get some clients, learn more about business, figure out those marketing streams, right? Doing all of these things is incredibly important. We often see when we work with people who do have a full-time job, we see that it will often take them 6 to 18 months to get to a full-time income, to leave that day job or to get to an income that is actually sustainable and reasonable, right? 6 to 18 months. That means if you leave your day job and then try and start your business, it could take you 6 to 18 months before you have reasonable income. That could be incredibly stressful, particularly if you're needing the income to start coming in. Everyone's got their own journey. We work with people who don't have day jobs or work part-time or have children. Everyone's got their own journey, but we need to understand that the sooner you start working on these things, the better. Right? Because there is a journey to get to these stages. And we've seen that with Ryan and Molly as well. Now, yes, we've seen people do it quite quickly as well. We see some people leave within a few months, within 3 months. Molly actually left her day job during our program, right? But what we do see is that it can take time. So the sooner you get started with this journey, the better. Really, really important. And part of that is also getting support. That's why we work with many, many people, helping them to grow their creative business because they need help getting out of their own way, learning these different things. Absolutely fantastic. So that is all of our questions we've got time for today. I know we've covered a lot. We do have that $100 giveaway, so we're doing that in a moment. So I'm just going to check my messages. I know Celeste here has done some analysis. So Megan Lord, I think it is, you are the winner there for that. So if you can make sure that you send us a DM on Instagram, or you can send us an email. So email to Flammable Entrepreneur. So I'll just put your name in the chat just so it is clear who I'm talking about there. So make sure you get in touch and we'll send you that $100 across, which is good. Okay, so as we wrap up here, I would love everyone here to pop in the chat a takeaway. Right, as we start to do wrap up, I would love everyone here to do a takeaway in the chat. What have you learned today? What's something that's been useful, helpful, interesting, surprising? Right? What's been maybe something that you hadn't heard before? Right? Pop something in the chat. What has a learning been from today? There we go, ABC. That was a fantastic one, absolutely. What else? What else was helpful? What did you hear from myself or from Paul, Alyssa, Molly, Ryan? What was something that made you think a bit differently? Or maybe there's even an action you're going to take. I love what everyone's sharing in the chat here as well. Love the ABC and finding great clients. Still loving authenticity, belief in consistency, and good enough to get started. It's not an impossible hill to climb. Scott, I love that one. Absolutely. This is all doable. Everything here is learnable. Even if it feels difficult or you've never done these things before, everything is learnable as well. Barbara, I'm good enough to get started. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I need to be more productive and not so reserved. Yeah, putting ourselves out there is an important part of that. Sherry, making a t-shirt. I'm making a t-shirt. I love that. Pitch how you can help, not what you can sell. Huge one. Absolutely. Thank you, Pete. That's such a good one. Instead of trying to sell to someone, try to show how you can help them. Another one that's fantastic around that idea as well. People want to hire people, be personal, authentic. Honestly, there's so many amazing things being shared in the chat here as well. As I said, I would love absolutely everyone here who is happy to make sure you show up, value Paul and Alyssa's time, and be at a place where you're like, you know what, I want to leave my day job in the next 6 to 18 months, or I want to grow my business that next level, or I want to double my income month over month, just like Molly and Ryan have done. Absolutely. Make sure you get on this freebie call with Paul and Alyssa. As I said, it is a one-on-one coaching call. I'm going to drop that link in the chat. If you didn't grab that, we've had a whole bunch of people have already booked those calls. That's absolutely fantastic. I want everyone else, open that link right now. Then you can, after this call, put in your name, put in your information there, and get on that call. And just once again, do keep an eye out for a message from Celeste, especially those of you that have booked calls for tomorrow or Monday. We do need you to make sure you fill in that form, because then Paul and Alyssa will be able to prep for that call as well. Amazing. We're going to wrap up things there for this awesome workshop today. I really appreciate everyone being here. Ryan, Molly as well. It's been so lovely having you both here, and Paul and Alyssa as well. It's been fun today. I loved all the interaction in the chat as well. I was trying to keep up with things. Everyone did incredibly well there as well. So looking forward to hearing how those digestion calls, those coaching calls go with Paul and Alyssa as well. Enjoy, and hope to connect with more of you soon. Amazing. Thank you all. Take care. See ya. Okay, I just want to jump back in here as well. For those of you that were watching the recording, because I know you couldn't be here live, but absolutely appreciate that you watched this recording all the way through to here. Hey, the freebie call, the free call with Alyssa, Paul, is for you as well, right? So we'll make sure we include that in the email. If you go back to the email where you found this link to the actual YouTube clip, make sure you go there and get that booked in. That's just going to be open until end of day on Saturday, or unless we run out of spots. So go and book that in as well, as long as you're happy to, show up, as I said, and be authentic and actually share some things, your dreams, your ideas, all those things there. Absolutely. Would love you to actually book in this call. Really, really important. Make sure you get that call booked in. Ideally, do it as soon as possible, for a time as soon as possible, because it's going to be a great chance to digest what you learned from today. Plus, you'll be able to talk about dreams, goals, challenges, and hear some of their insights along the way as well. So looking forward to hearing how they go. Obviously, so fantastic to have all that connection today. And thank you so much for watching the recording as well. Awesome. Take care. Bye.